Hello, Sarah. Yeah, okay, good job. Now I do have some comments, and I want you to think of it. And the project was a success. I think that you did a good job. You did a great job in the class. You're a good student. You've done, you know. So what I want to do is I want to talk about this as the logical step forward, and that is as a portfolio piece. Now, one of the things that I want to mention is that this is the assignment was actually a saddle stitch, and the saddle stitch entails spreads. And the reason that that was part of the assignment was so that you can learn about page imposition and how booklets are actually assembled when they are in that type of a spread saddle stitch. Um, this is showing spreads, however, it's printed on single pages and then bound. Does that make sense? As opposed to having in a spread, the printer spread is not what you see. So in other words, the other side of this wouldn't be this page in a printer spread. It would look like that once everything was folded and assembled. It would fold like that so that the spreads look like the spreads, but on the 11 by 17 or whatever size page that you're using, the other side of this fold right here is not going to be that page. If you know what I'm talking about, that's awesome. If you're kind of wondering, that's okay. It is a little bit confusing, but I put that video over here in the announcements, and I think it's really good. And well, of course, I think it's really good. I made it. I, I think it's really good because a lot of students have emailed me and said, "Hey, thanks for that. That made a lot of sense and explained a lot." So if you haven't already, then go ahead and take a look at this and this also week 8. Hey, what happened? Week 8 and that how to print your booklets. And then this is all really good stuff too because it shows how to shoot and all that. But whatever. Anyway, so I just wanted you to see that. And then okay, so let's talk about your work. Okay, now the first thing, and I mentioned this before, but I think it's really overwhelming in this presentation, is the actual size of your type. Now, I always recommend that. Is that a roll of Lifesavers? I can't tell what that is because I'm saying I was about to say whenever you shoot something you want to do two things. Number one, put it on a neutral background so that it's just like a poster board. And then it's always a really good idea, and that's why I was asking about if that's Lifesavers, because it's always a good idea to put something like a quarter or an X-Acto knife or something that so we can get us an idea of scale. What a lot of designers do is when they're shooting their work, they'll just take one hand and hold the side of it right there. Not with a thumb in there or just hold it right there. Just kind of gently placing the hand in a position so that the viewer, when looking at the photograph, can easily tell the size of the piece. So I think that this type here is just enormous. I mean, I'm wondering what type size that is, but on this size of 8.5 by 11, I'm going to say that's at least a 16, and that's really just out of control big. And I really hope that you're seeing that once you print this out. I'm hoping that you're seeing the size of the type and how it's really impeding any chance of using white space. And one of the things that I notice about your pages is that you have this tendency to want to push your design all the way to the corners and to use up every bit of the pages. And that's not using, and even right here, it's almost like you're just afraid to use white space. And that's okay. I don't mean that as a dig, because a lot of design students have problem understanding and really recognizing white areas and how they're able to be used as a design tool as opposed to looking at it as a blank. So again, we see the type just being pushed. And that's not only the type, but images and design elements. And we see it page after page. So that is my main concern. Well, two main concerns for you moving forward is number one is the top size of the type that you're using. I really would like you to think about that. And then the use of white space and your propensity to want to use the entire page. Okay, awesome job. Hey, I thought you did a great job. I enjoyed having you in class. I think you're a good student. Um, excuse me. If you, the class is over, sure, but I'm still here, So if you need anything, or if you need, even design advice or whatever the situation is, I hope I'm one of the first people you think of to contact. So, and my door is open, and just because the class is over doesn't mean my door closes. My door is always open. Okay. Thank you so much. I had a good time. Thanks very much.